We are back on sports, and I want to say this right now before we get started, because we're going to start with Eagles Cowboys. See, I'm so excited for Eagles Cowboys already. Eagles Packers. You have to understand, there's some things that need to be talked about. And first, I want to talk about the Philadelphia media. For those who don't know, I've said, a number of us have said who live in Philadelphia, have said you cannot trust the Philadelphia media, have we not? Well, over the weekend, for those who are not paying attention, those so-called hardcore Philadelphia Eagles fans, the media, because they want to cover it so much, 100%, they want to make sure that you Philly fans know that they're for the Eagles so that you watch them. Why is it that we saw one of our own lose their job and go run right to the Dallas Cowboys? I find this really funny. Because this is the same media that loves to, to dictate down to the fans that when players, when they leave, say they leave to Philadelphia and they go to Dallas, and like, oh, you went to a rivalry team, you must be a traitor. And the players are like, actually, I'm just trying to get paid, and actually, I want to see what, what the personnel is. Maybe we can win a Super Bowl. That's what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with allegiance. And fans are like, no, even the media, accuses you of this. And it's funny, because when the media dictates that down to the fans, and then the media themselves goes and does it, nothing said. I think the same thing should happen. If you're going to sit here and bag on these players from going from I would say rivalry team or other teams just because you say there's no loyalty, then maybe you should do the same thing with the media that's put that bug in your ear that says the same thing. I'm just saying they should get the same treatment as far as I'm concerned. I find it pathetic. But we're not done with the media. No. We're not done with the media. For those who don't know, in New York, that's right, over in Giants and Jets territory, we've got the media in New York saying that the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. No. Just stop. Already stop. And I say this due to the fact that Eagles fans, we said this year, because we take it year by year, we've been saying this year, it's playoffs or bust. We're not screaming Super Bowl. No. Not at all. All right? Now, if it happens, it happens. All right? But no one's going to come straight out and be like, Eagles going to the Super Bowl. We said this was going to happen a long time ago. Stop. Stop while you're ahead, okay? Because it's absolute buffoonery. It is. Don't come out of nowhere and just say, Eagles going to win the Super Bowl. No, especially when the media has taken shots at the Eagles for having the worst fan base. They've taken shots at us for having the most depressing team. Don't all of a sudden come out of nowhere and say, we're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear it. Not at all, okay? Now, let's move on. All right, let's talk Eagles-Packers, all right? First off, Eagles-Packers. Eagles fans were excited. Hell, I was excited. It was great to see what happened during the game. I know a lot of people were very happy with what happened with the game because the way they were performing. And then you have fans talking about fans act like they already won the Super Bowl. Let's get something straight here, all right? A lot of people are saying that, it's not that we feel as though they're going to win the Super Bowl. It's because they did so well against Green Bay's first string. All right, that's why everyone was so happy. Now, I have to put a little bit something in order here and put it back to reality, okay? Because as we talked about last week, this is the preseason. All right, we know that, but also remind you guys, all right, and girls, that yeah, we played the Packers and we played them really well and they looked great. Aaron Rodgers didn't play. No, okay. So let's not act like they had all their guys out there, all right? That's just a small example. But they didn't have all their guys out there. It is preseason. You want to make sure that your key guys that you're going to need to win don't play as much, okay? So when everyone's saying that, maybe we'll see more Bradford against the Jets, I would like to see more Bradford against the Jets. I would. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chip Kelly said, no, we're shutting you down this week because we got to get ready for the regular season. I would not be surprised if we saw more time with Mark Sanchez and, of course, the drama going on with Barkley and Tebow. I wouldn't be surprised, okay? Now, with that being said, let's talk about this. First half looked great. Sam Bradford, all right? Look, 11 for 11. Looked great. Had great poise. I mean, he made great decisions. It worked well. DeMarco Murray, for what we saw of him, looked great. For what we saw out there in Sproles, looked great. These receivers look really good. These young guys are really trying, and I like to see that, all right? Like I said, guys are going to be fighting for a spot. This is why preseason is important, because you want to see what you're getting yourselves into. These guys are fighting so hard. It's ridiculous to see, see what's going on. Defense. Let's talk how defense shut these guys down in the first half. They look great, okay? However, let's get something straight here. Second half, granted, different teams are coming in. You having second half adjustments. Defense started lacking. At one point in the fourth, I actually thought that the Packers had a chance to come back because the way defense was playing. Yeah. And it also goes to show that Reynolds, even though I like Reynolds, There was times where he had open tackles and running back would just run right through him. Just saying, not strong enough. Not strong enough. You gotta get bigger than that, because if you have a power back running through, and you're the safety, so you're the last line of defense, there's a problem. Now, I want to talk about, what should we talk about first? Let's see. We should talk about some cadences. Alright? And I want to talk about the cadences that is in the first half, and I'll put it like this. Not just the first half, but the extra point attempts. Now, this really pisses me off, because Tim Tebow, fucking Tim Tebow, alright? Chip Kelly, you bring Tim Tebow out there to see what he can do as once again, a halfback option. This wildcat, it doesn't fucking work, okay? This quarterback option where you're going to hold the ball and run with him and see where I'm going to go. He's not strong enough to run the line. He got smashed at the front line, which killed our two-point conversion the first time. Then, you give him a second chance right afterwards so he can do two-point conversion, and he throws the ball actually right to the defense. The guy jumps the route, throws it right to him. I mean, because he was staring the receiver down. You might as well just throw it right to him. So it goes to show you, those two opportunities that Tebow had, he blew it. Now, let's get something straight here, okay? Because we saw Bradford play great. Mark Sanchez, he missed a number of targets that day, all right? That night, I should say. He missed a lot. However, he still made up for it. Still took him a while to score a touchdown, even though he was either overthrowing somebody or he just missed a wide open receiver. He just didn't see him. And that's something we saw last year with Mark Sanchez. So far as I'm concerned, if Sam Bradford can stay healthy, he will be our starting quarterback now that we see what he can do. That's how I feel. That offensive line has to get tough because all the people that we played so far, we haven't seen a full 100% of what these defenses can do. Of course we're not going to see that. We're also not going to see 100% of the plays as well. So, like I said, everything is a testing phase. We know this. Alright? Now, like I said, that's why I can't wait till regular season. However, I want to talk about, like I said, Barkley and Tebow. Barkley and Tebow, let's get something straight here. Okay? Matt Barkley did not look that great. He didn't. Alright? And to be honest, and it's to be fair, Tim Tebow didn't have a lot of opportunities to throw the ball. He didn't, all right? Because they kept running the ball and quarterback option and keeping it in or not. And we saw what happened when he tried to keep it the one time with the running back and he fumbled. Good thing that, Tim Tebow, recovered. But the fact is, this is why it doesn't work. It doesn't. However, we still don't know what Tim Tebow can do when it comes to throwing the damn ball. Because you won't let him throw the ball. Obviously, they don't trust him. I'm not trying to hear that all of a sudden he has more intangibles. Oh, we can put him in this situation, in that situation. Every time you put him in a situation, it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. So as far as I'm concerned, 3 games in, Matt Barkley still played bad on Saturday, and he's still up 3 games to none. Don't tell me that all of a sudden Tim Tebow's going to have a phenomenal game against the Jets, and all of a sudden, oh, he's on the team. I'm not trying to hear it. All right? 3 games to none. Even if Tim Tebow does great, that last game, he's still down 3-1. The entire body of work that you have seen from both quarterbacks, like I said, hasn't been much. And it's kind of unfair to Tim Tebow, don't get me wrong, because, like I said, he's not throwing the ball. The opportunities he did have a chance to throw the ball, what do you do? 5-yard pass. He's not throwing downfield. I want to see this man throw downfield. Like I said, the Jets game, on Thursday, the Jets game, we have to see if he's going to throw downfield. Because if you don't let him throw downfield, then this is a wash. I'm not trying to hear all of a sudden miraculously, oh, we're still going to keep him on team anyway. Some of you had said, you know what, this guy shouldn't make the team, but he should make the practice squad. I'm okay with that. Let him make the practice squad, and then next year have him compete for a spot. I'm okay with that. But don't tell me out of nowhere that the performances that we're seeing from him in these 3 games, or should I say lack of opportunities at this point, that says, hey, it's a third-string quarterback. And a lot of people are saying, well, it is only a third-string quarterback. You really shouldn't be worried about it. It's not about him being a third-string quarterback and being worried about it. It's the fact they're forcing him down our fucking throat. That's the difference. Alright? And we should know by now how this goes. But, we'll move on. So, game ball this week goes to the offense. That's right, offense. Not defense like last week. Offense because they put on a hell of a show in the first half. And I will say this, defense looked good. Special teams, they looked alright. They looked okay. So, I'm actually, every week, I keep seeing good things out of special teams. So we'll see what happens, next week, on Thursday, and then in the regular season, see if they can keep that consistency up. Because that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about consistency when it comes to the Eagles. I understand that Sam Bradford is not going to throw 11 for 11 or whatever how many every game. That's not going to happen. That's unrealistic unless you're playing Madden, okay? But understand that I do expect good things from him, as long as he can stay healthy. But the Eagles have a lot to work on, and Chip Kelly has a lot to work on as well. Because when you come out in your press conference and you say, Tim Tebow is going to make this team, you've already thrown Matt Barkley under the bus. And that's not cool. All right? Let's move on. Like I said, I'm waiting for the Jets. I'll see what happens with the Jets. Because as we know, the Jets, they kind of destroyed the Giants a bit. So we'll see what happens with them. All right? Also, in more football news, Pittsburgh Steelers are hurting right now. All right? You got receivers who want to smoke weed and they get suspended for games. Okay? Then both your kickers go down in preseason, and you got to bring in the Jaguars kicker. And the Jags, don't even get me started. Because watching the Jags over the weekend, when they were actually winning, and then they blew it at the end, I don't understand how Jaguars fans, as some of you had said to me on Twitter, are there even Jaguars fans out there? I'm sure there are. But the fact is, if I'm watching these games and seeing, I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. And I'm not even a Jaguars fan. I can only imagine how Jaguars fans feel. Blake Bortles clearly is your guy. Clearly. All right? But the defense, the front line, all right, when you have these snaps and you're not even snapping the ball right, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I understand it's preseason, you're getting other guys in there, but when you have that type of lead, you got to hold that type of lead. Don't give me this. Don't give me this. And Detroit should have known better anyway, but you know what? Doesn't matter. I don't know. Watching, was it Arizona and Oakland? What's going on with Carson Palmer? I noticed when he was playing against Oakland, he was overthrowing his receiver a lot. And you know what? I saw some flags out there shouldn't have been thrown. And guess what? When they threw the flag, they took it back. Because there was no way that can't be pass interference in the end zone when the receiver cannot catch the ball. He overthrew the receiver by at least 10 feet. And we're talking high. Overthrew. There's no way you can call pass interference. Even if it was, he wouldn't have caught the damn thing. It don't make no sense. You can't call that in the end zone. No. But the Oakland Raiders also got rid of Trent Richardson. What a surprise. You know what I mean? You know you suck as a running back when even the Raiders don't want you. And I feel bad for Raiders fans because they deserve better. But seriously, if you're not playing to your potential, if you're trying to make a team, which is why I love preseason, you have to play hard. Trent Richardson, not playing hard. So he got cut. That's simple. Also who got cut in Buffalo, Fred Jackson. I don't understand this move. Due to the fact that the game that Fred Jackson had played in before he got cut, the announcers, everyone was praising Fred Jackson, praising him. And then the next day he got cut. How is that possible? How? I don't get it. I don't know what moves they're making over in Buffalo, but I just don't understand how you have all this praise for a man and then the next day he gets cut. I don't understand that. Anyways, I want to move on. And I want to talk about football overseas. That's right, we're getting back into the EPL. Let me get started right now. Chelsea. You've got to be fucking kidding me if you thought that going into that game against Crystal Palace, it was going to be easy. Now, I understand that people thought that Crystal Palace is the way they ended last season, that this is going to be a problem. But anyone who saw Crystal Palace throughout this season, they know that they're a pretty good team right now. Same thing with Leicester City. I will talk about that in a minute. Okay? But Chelsea, once again, you fail to get back on defense when pressing. And when the counter comes, you're nowhere to be found. Every time that you've played these games, it's always been chalked up to a mistake or a lack of communication what leads to a goal. It's always been that way. So even if you play solid defense, for that 1 second, it goes to show you in EPL, for that one tiny second that you mess up, someone will capitalize. And you blew it. Now, I understand that people are saying, Event, you need to calm down due to the fact that Chelsea, they barely lose games, and you look at Mourinho's record. I don't care about Mourinho's record. Look at the overall body of work. Yes, you can look at time possession, but look at the chances. And I say chances that Crystal Palace had. Every time, like I said, this is high drama, man. I can't sit around and watch these games and like, Chelsea, what are you doing? You can't. Matter of fact, you know what? To give you a little rundown of how Chelsea has performed in these couple of weeks, look at the chart on what they've done, wins, losses-wise, and how they've performed. And you're going in the Champions League because you got your bid, so you're in the G bracket. My question is, what's the point? Look, first off, EPL comes first as far as I'm concerned, all right? Champions League does not come first. If you cannot play to a specific standard in the EPL, then what the hell chance do you think you're going to have in the Champions League? Seriously, get it together. And for those who have not seen, oh my God, for those who have not seen the standings, the things that we have seen, all right, over the weekend, it's just absolutely crazy. Look, Let's look at the standings first, the top half of the standings, and see where every team lies. You have Manchester City. I want to make sure I get this right. Manchester City, Crystal Palace, Leicester City, which on Saturday for me was game of the day. Leicester City and Bournemouth, because both teams play with reckless abandonment. They don't care. And Leicester City ended up tying the game, so they have no losses right now. Ended up tying and ending on a draw due to a penalty. So as far as I'm concerned, that was a great game. It was. Then we have Swansea. Now, for those who don't understand what happened here, Swansea beat Manchester United. Let's get something straight here, all right? I watched the game, and Swansea came back from 1-0. That's right. And came back and won 2-1 in the rain against Manchester United, which was a great game as far as I'm concerned. It was an entertaining game as far as I'm concerned. These are your top teams right now. Also, Liverpool. You know what? I'm going to save Liverpool for a minute because I have something to talk to Liverpool fans about real quick, all right? But first, let's look at the bottom half of this bracket when it comes to the teams. Chelsea is in 13th place. That is absolutely unacceptable. Don't sit here and tell me that's okay from a team that won it all last year. That is a horrible start. I don't know if you're having a layover because you still feel you're these champions and you're entitled and you're still walking the walk from last season, but you better get that shit out of your head really quick because every team is gunning for that spot. And they're not sitting around thinking, oh, well, they won last year, so I guess we should lay down. No, they're trying to take your damn head off. Now, speaking of taking heads off, let's talk about Liverpool. I cannot believe that Liverpool lost to West Ham the way they did. And I put it like this, 56 years in the making. That's right, 56 years. And it wasn't that it was a close game, because it wasn't a close game. You got blown out. All right, 3-0, and the fact is, Liverpool, all right, you had a lot, if you watch the game, you watch it over again, a lot of just undisciplined play. A lot of it. A lot of uncalled for tackles that players aren't known for, things of that nature. So undisciplined, it made no sense. But I want to show people who still have not watched football overseas in EPL. I want to show you just how can I put this? How fanatic, how diehard some of these fans are. And yes, Liverpool, we're talking about West Ham still, because for those who don't know what happened during the time before the game and after the game, watch this fan, or I guess we can call him a super fan, watch what he does for his team over West Ham.
Historic day for West Ham. Before the game, West Ham fan John High tweeted this: 52 long years since the famous Irons won at Anfield. If we do it tomorrow, he says, shall get a tattoo to commemorate the famous occasion. And to be fair to him, he has done. That's the tattoo, which happened today. Done. Come on, you Irons, he says. He's got the score, the date, and the scorers as well. No mention of the sending off.
It just goes to show you how passionate some fans can be. So for those who don't understand they're in America and you haven't been watching, understand, like, when you see, like, Eagles-Cowboys or Phillies-Mets or things of that nature, or Mets-Yankees or something like that, big, rivalry teams, you have to understand, if you haven't beaten a team in a long time when it comes to EPL or any type of, footballers overseas, they celebrate the shit out of it. It doesn't matter if it's a hardcore rivalry or not, but it goes to show you that these teams that are playing, they keep up on the history. They are so deep in history, so enriched in the culture, that, or should I say ingrained in the culture, that it really matters to them that that guy went out and got a tattoo. It goes to show you that it's being celebrated. I mean, I'm not one for tattoos of sports, events and things of that nature. But if that's what you do, hey, that's what you do. There's a lot of fans out there who do it. If you don't believe me, there's a guy, I believe there's on Google, there's a picture of a guy who got Leicester City. He got the whole thing tattooed on his back and everything. So it goes to show you that these fans, they really care. And it's not like, American football, or even American basketball, even NBA, where you see fans who don't give a damn about teams. They only follow specific players. And that's just not how it is over there. They have a lot of loyalty over there. They do. It's very celebrated. But you know it's not celebrated? And you know what? I'm glad that it's not celebrated, all right? Griffin Force flop of the week. Do not tell me, football fans, that this guy should get away with this. Obvious, look. This is something like straight out of an anime. Don't tell me you haven't been touching it. You're going to fly 5 feet like you've been. It's not even like you've been, like, there was a movie and somebody got shot and he fell backwards. No, this is like an explosion happened and the guy flew backwards and he got punched and flew far like Dragon Ball. Check this flop out. justify, it's very, I feel as though it's very unsportsmanlike to flop, all right? And even though we saw a lot of unsportsmanlike play when it came to EPL over the weekend, let me say this now. What I saw in Brazil, that's right, women's soccer in Brazil was more unsportsmanlike than I've seen all weekend. For those who have not seen this, by all means, check out how this girl, she is working her opponent. And when she falls, she showboats. Watch what happens afterwards.
Mas o que era para ser belo espetáculo foi manchado pela violência.
Not only is that unsportsmanlike, all right, but that is dangerous. And I say this due to the fact that, look, when a person works you over and they're celebrating, even though, don't get me wrong, they're supposed to keep their head in the game, but you're celebrating over someone, then she's all smiles, as you can see, okay? You shouldn't get that frustrated to kick someone like that. That is a trained athlete to kick someone. Do you see how hard they kick those soccer balls? Do you see how far they can kick? That is dangerous. You can end someone's career that way. And I've seen this time and time again, especially here in American sports as of late, where players get frustrated because they're being shown up. Well, guess what? Don't get shown up then. The same thing with baseball. We see it all the time now. When guys hit home runs and then they bat flip. And then pitchers get mad and want to fist fight. Or the managers get mad and want to argue and carrying on. Do you understand that bat flipping in baseball in Brazil is an art? In Rio de Janeiro it's an art? In Colombia it's an art? In Japan it's an art? In every other place but America, it is an art form. And for you to get mad because someone showed you up, I've always said this, and I've always said that players should be allowed to celebrate when it comes to things, especially with football players. When they score a touchdown, yeah, go ahead and celebrate, go ahead and dance, because you know what? It may be your last, because the next play you come out, you may have a season-ending injury or a career-ending injury. You never know. That's why it's okay for you to celebrate as far as I'm concerned. Just make sure you score first before you celebrate when it comes to football. You know what I mean? Don't celebrate beforehand. Make sure you score first. However, I've seen this time and time again. And it's getting to the point where I don't care if you get frustrated, it's childish for you to get upset because you got shown up. You feel that way? Then go out there and make sure that you don't get shown up. Or, like I said, if you get me, I'm going to get you back. That's simple. It doesn't have to be any more than that. It doesn't need to resort to fighting, or in this case, kicking someone in the damn neck. You could have hurt that. You could have killed that person. That is dangerous execution. Speaking of dangerous execution, I want to move on right now, and I want to talk about Ronda Rousey. And I know you already see it in the header where it's about hypocrisy. Let's talk about this, okay? So, not too long ago, we talked about Ronda Rousey and Floyd Mayweather. And, of course, Ronda Rousey said she wouldn't fight Mayweather unless, she was dating him. Ha, ha, ha. So Floyd got her, she got him back, okay? Yeah, jokes is jokes. Okay, whatever, right? Well, for those who don't know, since that's happened, Brendan Schaub has come out, ex-boyfriend, has come out and said that Ronda Rousey has a lot of nerve to talk about Floyd Mayweather when apparently, allegedly, so far we're hearing, that she's dating Travis Browne. And for those who don't know, Travis Browne allegedly beats his wife. That's right, he's still married. He's still married, and he beats his wife. That's right. So let's hear what Brendan Schaub has to say on the issue.
It's tough when you're like, oh, don't be a do-nothing bitch, and you hate on Mayweather, and then your boyfriend's over here beating the shit out of his wife. Not to mention, he's still married. So it's tough when you're a role model.
So now we have the ex-boyfriend coming out and jumping on Rousey for dating a guy who's already married, or allegedly dating a guy that's married. I will put it like this. There's more to this story, because that clip was kind of hard to find. For those who don't know, and I'm going to put this in the info bar, okay? Someone put, and this is reported by Black Sports Online, someone put pressure on Brendan Schaub to delete the clip and edit it off the show on Ronda Rousey. That's right. So apparently, like I said, this clip was a little hard to find. You can find it every once in a while because other people have covered it before it went down. But understand that this clip was edited from his MMA show, and it was deleted. Who put the pressure on him? That's what I want to know. So it goes to show you that now, this is about image. But that's not all. No. I want to give a shout to, was a YouTuber, Czech, who confirms, because he covered this, confirms that Travis Browne's wife accuses of Browne and Rousey dating. Now, I'll put the link to his YouTube channel, the actual issue of it, because he talks about how possibly they're not dating. The fact that if you look at the picture between these two, it looks like they just came back from training and that they were just sitting and eating. We don't know. But the fact is, even his wife came out. That's right, Travis Browne's wife came out and said this herself and made this accusation. So, once again, this is ex-boyfriend making accusations. Then we have a wife who was apparently beat up by him. making these accusations as well. So this is not going to go well, and as far as I'm concerned, everyone's already asking Ronda Rousey, she's got to address this. I would say, yeah, address it as fast as possible. Because if you're going to be, as Brendan Schaub said, this role model and, dominant fighter, and the spotlight is on you, you should know by now, when the spotlight is the brightest on you, all it takes is one accusation, and then everyone will come down on you for it. So it's best that you address this before anything happens. Because if not, then people will start calling you a hypocrite. That's what they'll do. So it goes to show you that this is a problem. Now, last bit of news I want to talk about Derrick Rose. And I want to talk about this due to the fact that I'll put the link in the info bar, Deadspin, and the actual lawsuit that's going on. That's right. For those who don't know, Derrick Rose is being sued, apparently, for sexual assault by his, you can't say even girlfriend. I'm going to explain this, all right? And his lawyer says that this is pretty much a pathetic shakedown. Which, if you look at the stuff, I'm going to agree on this. This is a pathetic shakedown. Because she goes into this, it goes to timeline-wise, years ago. She talks about how Derrick Rose tried to get her to do things to herself on Skype, and she stopped talking to him on Skype because of that, because she thought it was weird, she was uncomfortable, he was creepy. However, she still stayed with him. Just like years after. Now, mind you, during these years after, he also apparently, this is what she accuses him of, she says that, he asked her to have sex with other people while he was there, and it was like, okay, so you didn't find that weird, huh? But years still going on, years, all right? And then she says, well, afterwards, she found out that he had a girlfriend back in Chicago, so he's having 2 women now, okay? So, she still stays with him. Yeah, she still stays with him, so years still go by. And now all these, all these accusations. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that she has pretty much a pot to piss in the window, throw it out of when it comes to this case. It makes no sense. Will I sit here and say that Derrick Rose didn't do it? No, because we don't know. But given the information that we have so far of this lawsuit, it looks like bullshit as far as I'm concerned. It does. It does look like a hustle. It looks like a shakedown. It does. We don't know what's going on. We don't know if Derrick Rose has done any of this. But why would you wait until now to come out and make these, and sue this man over it and everything? I know a lot of people will say, well, why didn't she go to the police when it first happened? Things of that nature. None of this adds up. If you felt as though it was creepy and he made you uncomfortable in 2012, why would you stay with him for years and years after? After finding out that he had another woman on the side, or that you're the side chick, why would you still stay? And don't give me this because I love him. Don't give me that. Don't give me that. You were dealing with a high-profile basketball player, and we know, we've heard the stories all over about basketball players, and every town they go to, they have women and everything. You should know what you're getting yourself into. I don't want to hear it. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't make it right. But it also tells me that she's fucking naive. That's what it feels like. Either that or it's a shakedown. Let's call it what it is. As far as I'm concerned, after looking at the proof, or on her end, because we haven't heard anything really much from Derrick Rose, and the media is really not covering this, to be quite honest, I'm going to say it's a shakedown for now. Until we get more information. Like I said, I will hold, all of it until then, and then if we get more information, I'll talk about it some more. But as far as I'm concerned, this is nothing to even be worried about with Derrick Rose. Until we find out more information. Until. So, like I said, one girl that was probably scorned or whatever, going up against a media, come on, because it's a media giant. Let's not just think that this is her versus Derrick Rose. No, this is her versus Derrick Rose versus Adidas versus the media. Come on, it's an uphill battle. So I can see where people would have some sympathy for her, because you have to understand, all those things come into play. They do. And if you're caught red-handed, then some companies won't back you. Also, in more news, just to let you know, a little small tidbit. I really want to say this for next week, but I'll talk about it right now. Michael Jordan comes out and apologizes to a mother of a kid that was killed because of his shoes. That's right. So he comes out and he apologizes. Now here's the thing. Michael Jordan, what about all those other fucking years where people were killed over your shoes? Just wondering. Because if you're going to apologize to one, you know how this goes. I'm just saying, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. And as far as I'm concerned, if Michael Jordan's going to apologize, then Nike needs to come out and apologize as far as I'm concerned. Because hyping up Jordan's number 1, making limited releases number 2, okay? And number 3, holding these events where people get hurt. We have covered this before on video here, have we not? Showed you the videos, showed you the stuff. And now all of a sudden, now you want to come out and apologize, huh? You got a lot of apologizing to do if that's the case. Anyways, I'm done for today. If you don't like the video, it's fine. If you do, whatever. Like I said, just wanted to bring some conversation to the table. Like I said, I know that I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. I was really busy. Wanted to make sure I had y'all set today. So I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.